and welcome back to Cinema Wellman. I am your host, David, and welcome to a special episode of Cinema Wellman because you won't really be seeing me, although this will be a very visual episode. For those of you that usually consume Cinema Wellman via the podcast on Spotify, this might be a little difficult for you because what I'm going to do is take you on a tour of the Cinema Wellman set, and I'm going to explain some of the junk that's behind me and why it's there. And what it means to me. So there's just a quick little studio tour for you to explain all the stuff that hangs behind me. And we all got used to this during the pandemic, right? When we would do Zooms and we would immediately scan everybody else's bookshelves if you're watching TV and what's this news broadcaster, what are they reading, and what's this person into, what DVDs do they have on their shelves, etc. So I'm just going to explain the stuff that appears behind me for most of the episodes. Now, this is going to be out of sequence a little bit, and this is the first time we're going to do this on Cinema Wellman. I'm about to redress the set for the Jaws episode that's going to air on July 4th, and if you're watching this episode, it's way after July 4th, and I hope you had a nice July 4th weekend. So the set might look a little different the next time you see an episode. So let's go through. We're going to start with the upper left-hand quadrant on your screen, and that's where you will find up here. I'm going to use my trusty 5-iron here. I have a Dr. Evil out of frame hanging here. Actually, is my Sacred Art School tie, my clip-on tie that I wore. I think I had that out for the Origins episode, and it just hangs there, and it makes sense to me. Little Dr. Evil. Behind Dr. Evil is one of the couple VHSs that I saved after getting rid of the VHS collection, and that's a copy of The Road Warrior. The marquee, Dakota gave me that marquee, and the bummer is that they don't have enough letters really for anything. I can't even spell Cinema Wellman, so I decided to keep it as screening all day and just leave it at that. Over here we have a little Boba Fett collection. There is a Boba Fett Pez, Boba Fett bobblehead, and a little Boba Fett figurine. Now, below that, one of 3 license plates on the set. We have JJZ 109. That was the car that this license plate of the 1968 Ford Mustang that Steve McQueen drove in Bullitt. And this other license plate here, the California RDR 838, is from the 1968 Dodge Charger that Bill Hickman drove in Bullitt. We have the James Bond 50th anniversary DVD set right there. I'm a big Pez collector, so there's Pez all over the place. We have the Star Wars Pez here. We have Chewbacca. We have Yoda. We have Darth Vader. Next to that, it's a Funko Pop of Jasmine from Aladdin. And this Funko Pop was given to me by one of my students whose name was Jasmine. And she said, I wanted to give this to you so you wouldn't forget me. And I don't forget my students who make an impact on me, Jasmine. So I wouldn't forget you with or without the Funko Pop. You are remembered. Next, to the other side here, we have this one is just a mishmash. We have my anniversary set DVD of Citizen Kane, more Star Wars Pez. We have R2-D2 and the Death Star. Next to that, we have the Planet of the Apes box set. Huge fan of Planet of the Apes. I'm considering an upcoming episode based on, going through all the Planet of the Apes episodes. Next to that is one of the Hanson brothers. I, at one point, owned a little ice rink, half an ice rink setup that had the Hanson brothers figurines on it. It was pretty wild. Up at the top here, we have a Stormtrooper figurine that I've had since college, because I have pictures of that in my apartment at BU. Behind that is not the Death Star. That is an old 8mm film. That is one of my student films. I think that is the SPC Cutthroat, because I don't own a copy of Psychic Vegetables. Next to that, we have the Jaws Corner. And the Jaws Corner is made up of a bunch of things. We have there's the front of a tin of mints. That shark, it'll eat you whole. We have a DVD case. We have another DVD case because I have different versions of it. The Jaws beach clothes thing it's called an Amity Island Summer of '75 kit, and I talked about that at length during the Jaws episode. and you can see the little rubber shark, and you can see the little shark that Dakota made me for my birthday when everybody came here. That license plate 007981 is the license plate that they pull out of the shark that they kill, and they think that it is the shark that's killing the people, but as we know, it is not. Hanging there also is the one of the other VHSs that I saved, and that's a copy of Jaws VHS. And here, speaking of Jaws VHS, this item right here is a Christmas ornament that is actually a VHS of Jaws. And I showed that during the Jaws episode. It's awesome. Before I move the chair, I want to mention the chair. The chair is Jean's chair, my mom's chair, that she had in the kitchen. She would cook, and she would sit and watch TV and do her crossword puzzles. So Jean's with me for every episode. I sit in her captain's chair, and I know that she would enjoy that. And before I'm going to cover up this side, so I just wanted to mention the chair before I covered up this side. We have a little Dazed and Confused poster that came with the DVD, special DVD edition that I bought. Now, this little section is DVD cases, and I try to change it if I have specific DVDs that deal with the topic that I'm talking about during that episode. And so that's a spot that if you watch consistently, you might notice that things change there. For example, I just did the New York episode, City Spotlight on New York, so I have the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, Goodfellas, The Apartment, and Gangs of New York. And behind that, we have other... So we have The Sting there. We have my friend Andrew's all-time favorite film, Battle Royale. We have the Godfather box set, and we have Dazed and Confused by, my friend of Cinema Wellman's, Richard Linklater. So let me move Jean's chair here, and we'll talk about this other stuff on this little tour. All right. Now, here... And you usually don't see these. That's why this one's kind of empty, because you really don't see me because I'm blocking it. But here we have my last Netflix envelope package, and I have this little cup here is from Casino Night with the Rangers, but it's filled with all those little pull-off tabs. And I mentioned that I think I'm the only person that ever saved any of those things. Here is the copy, the Jaws VHS. Here's my Lost in Space, even though that's not film, it's TV. I love those boxes, and I have the boxed set of every episode of Lost in Space. Over here, two of my favorites, and that kind of stays put. We have the Maltese Falcon and Casablanca, the DVD boxes for that. And then finally over here in the corner, we have the Big Lebowski corner, and that has two of my, I think, 4 different versions that I own of that film on DVD. 2 little Funko Pops that Dakota got me, and the Big Lebowski apron that as soon as I was given that, I was just like, there's no way I'm going to wear that while I'm cooking. That has to hang up somewhere. And so it hangs in the Cinema Wellman studio. So that's it. That is it. That's the wrap on the little studio tour of the Cinema Wellman set. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that gives you a little background into what is in the background when I'm talking to you every week. Tune in next week, and since I'm shooting this out of sequence, I have no idea what is coming up next. But we hope you join us for it, whatever it is. And until then, take care.